2013, 7 years ago. It all started in 2013. I'm walking down Calle Muntaner in Barcelona, lots of traffic, noisy, when I receive a phone call. I don't know this number, man. And it's Switzerland. And it was Pedro. And Pedro says, "Hey, Florian, now I'm working here in Banco Santander, private banking. And yeah, I met you in the course with Connor at ES at Business School with the MBA and now executive MBA program. And now I'm here in Geneva and I'm running the HR of Banco Santander, private banking. What do you need?" I didn't say that. But then he said, "Well, Florian, I saw your stuff online. We want some charisma, public speaking, yeah, but a little bit of leadership as well." And I'm like, "That's great, Pedro, but I have zero ethos, credibility in leadership. Because at KPMG before, I never was a leader. I was always the wingman of a leader, even a board member, but I've never led any team. So what am I going to do with leadership?" And then I told Pedro, "But I have an idea. Once in my other client, Accor Hotel Group in Germany, it was the third training and I didn't know what to do in the third training. What do you do in a double day training, in the third training?" So I came up with the idea to do a power workshop. Now, what is a power workshop? Power workshop, I defined it my way. It's like I give you 15 minutes on a topic that I choose for you, and you create it, and you do the work, and you make us work in a workshop. And I told Pedro on the phone, "Well, Pedro, this we can do. Because if we give them all the 8, 9 leadership topics like top-down communication, communication of objectives, inspiration, team building, all this stuff, then they come up with the work, and we have our workshops." And with more or less 6 groups in total, 50 power workshops. And ever 2013, I'm so in love with workshops. Welcome, my friends. Connor, I've seen Nadine here. Hernan Vazquez. Hey, greetings from Buenos Aires. I've been to La Lucila once, La Lucila. James, all of you. Some of you have attended Connor's great webinar today. Man, he's so leader. Connor, I wish I was like this leader. You're so Bill Clinton style. It's amazing. I loved it. Now, workshops is our topic today. And as usually, I am prepared with my mind map. But of course, I'm totally intrigued by what are your opinions? What are your questions about workshops? How can we do workshops? How can we do offline, online? The whole world of workshops is so exciting. Do you have any first question for me in this one here? You always ask questions and I will spontaneously jump into your questions. Why do I like workshops so much compared to normal meetings where one person speaks and another person speaks and another person speaks? Have you ever listened to the others when they spoke? Have you ever really listened to anyone who speaks who is not you in a meeting? Come on, you're thinking about your own presentation. You're nervous. Oh God, it's my turn in a second. Oh man, oh fuck, what I'm gonna say. Workshops. And the first thing I want you to have in mind, again, it's not black or white. This can be gray zone, not 50 shades, but gray zone. It doesn't always have to be a workshop or a normal meeting. You can have a meeting with workshop elements. And the first reflection on why is it so, why I think workshops are so powerful is this here. Does anyone remember those number pyramids? Connor, Sophia is now 4. She's doing them right now for sure already. Isn't she? Do you remember number pyramids? Anyone? Number pyramids? Well, what happens is, here you have a normal meeting. I remember these because Alvaro, now he's 13, but when he was 4 or 5-ish, he did number pyramids. When you have a normal meeting, you have individual presentations, individuals speaking. Now on Zoom and on Teams and all these online meeting platforms, you have also individuals talking. And this means you have here a value of someone who says something with a value of 3 on a let's say from 1 to 5. Someone with a 2 and someone with a 5. Spectacular analysis of the issue. Now, workshop is you bundle people. That's the first thing in workshops is I use a lot of group work. So the first thing is use group work. Because when you bundle people, I realize in all those power workshops I have done in my life, you get automatically faster and better results. The value goes up. Now the mathematical guys here don't nail me down that I said 1 to 5 and now you have a 7. Okay, I'm German, but I'm not that logical. So now it improved because you bundle people, and it's fast because there's less discussion among 3 people. Now you have, it's a smaller group. Imagine 10 people in a meeting. Now you have 3, and 4. You get faster results, less discussion. And then if you group them again, you have, of course, at the end of the day, maybe in 4 hours workshop, 3 hours workshop, you have a 12. This is the same thing with group work that I've learned with workshops. Faster results, better results than individuals talking like in a normal classical meeting, which I had so many of them back in my life at KPMG, the place to be. Any question here? Come on, guys. No question on workshops? Think about all the workshops you've attended. What is important to have a good workshop? While you're thinking, cheers from quarantine Spain. Any other question here? That's not really correct because you haven't asked any question. As usual, I will keep talking then. Explanation. It is amazing because when you are in a workshop, you make your teams work. And this means they need instructions. I remember a fabulous guy, a mentor of mine, at KPMG in Germany. I was a beginner. It was in the year 2000. I think in October 2000 it was, yes. And the guy was an ex-military, a major, very high-ranking military in Germany. And then he became a business consultant. He does restructuring. He does all this when heavy hearts are needed to make it happen. And what was his name? Oh my God, Marcus. I remember his first name, Marcus. And picture the scene. The thing was, we had to do an inventure. Is it called inventure? We had to catalogize all those the IT equipment of the German telecom. Do you know how many computers, printers, fax machines back in the day 2000 the German telecom had in Germany alone? So the guy in the first initial meeting, what we did is we had temporary workers, mostly jobless people. They got a good job for like 2 months. And there were 400 people in a room. Each one of them in front of them, 5 packages, because that was their equipment to do this job. And this guy, I tell you, he said this way. Now everybody in the room, take your left hand and raise it. Raise your left hand. And I want you to take this hand and put it on top of the biggest box in front of you. Not the right hand, the left hand. And like this for 15 minutes, instructions to 400 people. And they did exactly what he wanted him to do. The second thing I want you to have in mind when you do workshops. I'm a workshop leader, I love it. You have to give instructions as if they were 6 years old. Anything which is not like 6 years old, left hand on top of the biggest box, it will crash. Because what happens always is the smart people, the alpha males. Yeah, I don't understand this. You have it right away. And they spoil the bunch. They spoil the bunch. The bad apple spoils the bunch. Then there are other questions. They're stout. all the time. Instruction must be crystal clear. Use pauses. Speak slowly. Speak with short sentences. Oh man, this is so important in powerful workshops. I've done a workshop in Prague in front of 120 people on tables of 8. If you don't give crystal clear instructions, you're dead meat from the start. Here comes a question, Alva. Thank you so much, Alva. What would be the ideal duration of the workshop to have all the people engaged? The golden rule is there ain't no rules. Okay, experience. I love power workshops. I call them power workshops because they're very powerful. 15 minutes, I always do. 15 minutes. Do you know what you get out of 8 people, 10 people in 15 minutes when they get creative? It is just amazing. It's amazing. Here's Nadine wondering loud where the term workshop comes from. Working plus shopping and shop for work. Nadine is back. Nadine has always twisted thoughts because she's a twisted mind, one of the most intelligent people on this planet. Nadine, everything is different. She's a lateral super thinker. Thank you, Nadine, for that. But we can discuss it on the side. We're having a virtual wine one day. Hi, Juan Carlos. So Alba, back to your question. What would be the ideal duration of a workshop? I have no idea. I've done 1 hour. I've done 2 hours. I have done 45 minutes. I've done 20 minutes. I've done 15 minutes. What I love is 15 minutes. If you have, of course, a bigger group, like the one in Prague with 120 people, I had 1 hour because, I mean, everything takes longer. Even when you put one table to another table, they have to move. All these things you have to have in mind. Preparation. More questions. So for me, explanation must be crystal clear. Clarity is even more important in workshops. And workshops are just more powerful for me than individual people talking. Do you give any instructions, says Hernan, of themes you will consider in advance? The theme of Lord of the Rings? The theme of Star Wars? The Force. Oh, the Force. The theme of Kill Bill? Vengeance. Great stories have a theme. Great speeches have a theme. Great presentations have a theme. Great workshops have a theme. And then for me, a theme is always good. You can be very creative. One thing I really want you to take home today is this one. Gamify your workshops. And themes like Star Wars for workshop, even if it's Santander banking, it doesn't matter. They love it. A theme could be one client. The needs of one client. Yeah, we know we have 2,567 clients. I don't give a. One client is a theme. 2,500 is not a theme. We cannot relate to it. A theme holds everything together. You can have a real structured theme with structure blocks throughout the theme. So cool. The theme could be healthy food. And each plant you use for your healthy food represents one solution to your client. You can be so creative. Gamify your workshops. The rule is there is no rule. I don't know why people are always so conservative with everything. This is why agile coaches now have such a great weight in companies, because they throw in all the gamification. And I work a lot with agile coaches, and they are so cool. I have amazing people. They are so creative. But this is what we need, man. Anything else? Any other question? Of course, when I share something, it's always subjective. But as you know, or those who follow me, Connor asked me the other day if I do give away my speech structure building method, how to create any persuasive talk in 4 simple steps. That is daring. This is something I gave away here 13 hours already of all my knowledge I have. But that is my signature This is, Alvaro has to go to school, man. But this is how it looks like. This is a speech structure for persuasive talk. You have an introduction, you make it important. Why is it important to you? You build your ethos, you have the message, what is it all about? This is the essence. You do a signpost, you go into you say there are 3 arguments, 3 benefits for this. You give your benefits, you come to the conclusion, you repeat the benefits, you repeat the message, and you make them do something. This is persuasion visualized. I've talked about it a lot. There's one session on structure. And this is the train part. I always go back to the beginning. Today I would have to go back to Pedro calling me in Montaner in Barcelona in the year 2013. That's the train part. Now, for me, as a workshop creator, I also want to have a clear structure. So what I do in the end is exactly the same. Sometimes I have 2 pillars. Sometimes I have 4 pillars. I wouldn't do more than 5 because people just don't remember. But you can structure. You want to structure your workshops. And it's very important that at the beginning, I said it just now crystal clear. Here in the workshops, I don't tell them, we will do 3 steps. No. I tell them at the beginning, we will do 3 steps. Step number 1, we will go into groups of 3, 3, and 4, and you have 10 minutes to come up with a concrete idea on this. In a second step, we will do this. In a third step, we will do this. Now go for step number, be clear, crystal clear with everything you tell them. They always have to know where this is going. Here we go. Are you focusing today on online or offline workshops? Nadine, I don't really see any difference. You used the other day, Nadine, you used this amazing collaborative tool. It was for everyone, but imagine you do this in breakout groups. This is amazing. I mean, this is the same thing you would do offline. I think all the creativity of offline, now let's think laterally, Nadine, like you always do so well. Let's think, how can we put all this into our online screen? This is the challenge. Alba, when you're doing a workshop, do you ask all the teams to share in front of the audience, or sharing is voluntary? I make them share, but the golden rule is there ain't no rule. You could put them at the wall there, and then the groups go and check out the other results. You could have one person telling the others what they worked on, but always throw back the knowledge you have gathered in the subgroups. Of course, you want to go back. You want to have, where was it? You want to have this number building, but of course it only works when these people, everyone knows what it's all about. Otherwise you don't get to the 12. Always share your content that you have generated, of course. As a public speaking trainer, when do you use one or another? What do you mean by one or another, Juan? What is one or another? Okay, Juan Carlos, there was another question of yours before. How do you compare keynotes about public speaking versus workshops on public speaking skills? What is a keynote worth that you attend being part of 500 people when I speak about public speaking? I've done it. I know I shouldn't say that, otherwise nobody books me in the future. Public speaking, you want to train. You want to do it. I use workshop elements in my second format, Charisma Booster number 2. I have some workshop elements there. I use elements of workshop. It doesn't have to be a 16-hour, 2-day workshop. But group work, you can always throw in. And also when I do a keynote speech, come on, groups of 2, groups of 3 always works. This is a workshop element. Yeah, I just saw it. In combination with Zoom, Nadine, where can we communicate and create subgroups in breakout rooms? Well, in Zoom, you can't do that. You know that. When you have the pro version, you just do, and I tried it out the other day, you can do random groups. I always do random. They have to pick stuff because in offlines, you want to be creative. Gamify workshops. One thing is to say, you work together with Albert, you with Juan Carlos, and you with Nadine, go. The other thing is what I do is I always have nice envelopes. different colors, and inside there's only a circle or a square, and this builds together the teams. That is cool. Gamify your workshops. The same thing with random. You have the functionality in Zoom, for instance. I don't want to always say Zoom because there's others. Other companies use other stuff. But this is it. You can do random breakouts. I love random. I hate it when the trainer, the coach, the workshop leader says, you work together. This is like they know who should be together. And the people know that you know that they should be together. The extrovert and the introvert, and the guy who doesn't like the other one, maybe, to have some clash on purpose. I have the power. You got the power. But I love random because the universe is very just. You would be astonished how many times you get exactly the groups you want, chosen by the universe. Hey, Connor's back in combination with Zoom. Yeah, look, previous comment. Yeah, didn't I respond to it? In a public speaking keynote, you can use group work with neighbors. Don't break out because this is a keynote speech. They want to listen to you. When you give a whole big workshop, 80 people have done 120 people, then it's a workshop. Yeah, this is what we just said, Connor, the challenge. And Nadine here is, of course, perfect that Nadine is here, the lateral thinker. Let's think, how can we get all the creative stuff into the online world? And this, Connor, in case you haven't seen it, this is my overall message for today. Gamify your workshops. Gamify. You can do, when we're in the offline world, you can do cool stuff. And I want you to think different. How many, those who follow these sessions now for more than 20 times. I think, Juan Carlos, you must have been 21 times at least. How many props have I used throughout these 3 weeks? How many props? That's exactly, Connor, you say it. You can use the chat to do surveys, quizzes, interact. Yeah, Alba, I know. Now this is a real case. I'm a Rotarian. Those of you who don't know, Rotary International is the biggest humanitarian association in the world, and I'm a member for almost 15 years in Barcelona. And I was the president 3 years ago, and it was Christmas Eve. And before, there were 6 tables of 10 people. And before the Christmas party, I had bought these letters, and you get them, and this is wood. You see, this is the extra mile. Don't just use paper and pens or the chat. You can be very creative here. And I put these 6 letters on 6 tables. But of course, what these people said, you will sit today with the letter O, okay. And the other one said, you sit with the letter E, okay. And you with the letter M, okay. And my speech that night as a president of the club, it was what keeps us together. What keeps us together. And the message was, what keeps us, lo que os une, es amor. And then they realized there was the E table, and there was the S table, and there was the A table, and there was the M table, and there was the O table, and there was the R table. And together, es amor. Now this, I would have never done. I would have never had the idea to do this for a random Christmas speech for my Rotary Club if I hadn't done all these power workshops since 2013. For me, this one here is an absolute given. Whatever I do, whatever I want, however I interact, offline, online, it must be sure that it's entertaining and you get a lot out of it. And gamification is one of those techniques that you can all use for better workshops. Job. Yeah, more than 50, you counted them. Yeah, and sometimes I buy stuff. I don't know if it's possible. So you get ideas for creativity. There's one 2-day event I've done, and they did these power workshops. And in the morning, when they got back to the room, The first thing we did in the morning was we played memory. You know memory? But what I had done is, together with my buddy Tobias Rodriguez, who's also a brilliant coach, a conflict mentor, team builder, number one for me that I know, who I know, Tobias Rodriguez, and Tony Anagori is also here. We organize these events, Game Changers. I shouldn't say because this is a surprise always in our events, but it matches, it fits so well here, just to trigger your creative juices, what you can do. So the next morning we play memory, but all these have different images, like Sartre. Why? Because we took from the phase number one, we take the essence, the 3 piece of essence of that workshop, the takeaways, 3 takeaways of each workshop. And if you have 8 people, this is 48 cards, which is 96 memories. Is it correct? It's 8 people, 24 doubled 48. And 48 you can buy in these 50-piece memories, you can buy them. So I looked for metaphorical images like chairs or pyramids, which were the takeaways. And then the people have to play the game, but they also have to know what did it mean. And this, I think I always think I wrote books and a rhetoric game and everything, but I think that's the most creative thing I've done. For a workshop, for sure, because it's so sticky afterwards. You can play memory. Nadine, how can you play memory online with your own memory cards that you developed? There is for sure some app to use here. Any more questions on workshops? It's already 27. I can't believe that it's 27 already. Ethos. If you follow rhetoric, if you follow these calls, if you follow Connor Neal, if you know anything about rhetoric, it's logos, ethos, pathos, and it's always the same. Ethos is your credibility, authority as a speaker. This is you. This is your charisma. This is your authority. This is you. As a workshop leader, because the instructions are so complicated, to simplify. That's a good sentence. Instructions are so complicated, to simplify. This is why we screw up all the time with our instructions. Even a very, very, very good communicator. We screw up. I screwed up. I screwed up many times with my instructions because we cannot think about all the different thoughts that people have. Imagine a group, Nadine, with 10 Nadines in front of you as a workshop leader. You're dead meat. And because of that, many times I'm confronted as a workshop leader with kind opposition. Kind opposition. I didn't get it. Can you explain it again? Yeah, me neither. And then it's chaos, and then there's chaos, and there's chaos. Harshad, is there a metric for ethos? No, but we can build it. There's elements that build ethos. Go to the session, Harshad. There's one session on ethos. Check it out. It's in the playlist. Check out the playlist. There's ethos. I learned that you have to be, as a workshop leader, kindly authoritarian. Kindly authoritarian. Because there's so much kind opposition always popping up out of nowhere. You don't even know what. You get the timing slightly not right. One person didn't really get it all the time. You must keep your ethos high. Then you just repeat it. Or something I learned. Oh, that's a good tip for everyone. That's a good tip. Because in my public speaking trainings, when I give instructions and then they go off to prepare a speech, how many times has it happened? Oh, I need a sip of wine here. How many times has it happened that then everybody goes and then some person yells into the room, Florian, but I don't know how to do this. And this is what we call priming the room. This one person primes your room. This one person manipulates your room. This one person causes in 8, 9, 20, 30 other people now doubt that hadn't existed before. So a very, very important tip for you. Whenever you do and let them, you give instructions, say, if there is doubt with something, in your chat, you have an individual chat function. Send me your individual doubt, and I will go back to you. What you never want is that someone yells it into the room. He or she poisons the entire room. Individual doubt, clarification of individual doubt through chat, one, or when it's offline in a room, you say, if anyone has doubt with anything here, come to me. I'm here in this corner. I answer any question that you might have. This is something I failed in the past and which now I really manage well. Any other question? 31 minutes already. Today, everything is about workshops. I said before, gamify your workshops. But of course, there has to be also business content, it has to be strict, it has to be cool, it has to be structured. With gamification here and there, simplify. That's the other word that pops up in my mind when I think about more or less 80 workshops that I've led. Simplify. And Da Vinci says simplification is the ultimate sophistication. I know, you know, we know, the universe knows, simplification is the most difficult thing. Simplify Harshad on quick example. Is that simplification? Harshad? I think there's always a slight delay with the chat. That could be. Simplifies goes hand in hand with lots of clarity when you instruct. Oh no, wait, park the gamification. Simplify. If you use complex sentences, if you think we can do this and that and that and this again, one workshop, one result. This is the same thing like in persuasive talk, right? Connor, are you still here? Here's the call to action at the end. This is my goal. After my speech, the audience will do what? I told you the other day I had to eat I had to eat a bouillon cube. This is the objective of a speech, not I want them to eat less salt in life. My objective is I want them to eat half of a bouillon cube. This is my objective. Same thing in workshops. You don't want to save the world. You cannot save the world. That's impossible. That's impossible. The world just fell down. You can't. You want one output. This is simplification. Do more workshops if you want more output. Harsha, to your question, gamification is this. What am I using here? This is gamification. What about in an offline meeting? Go buy these things. You know, in these handicraft shops, they're everywhere. In these cool shops on Amazon, you can find so much material. You know what material I use? And Connor, of course, yesterday in my speech at Toastmasters, Europe, speech, story, 7 minutes, I used the buffalo cows metaphor, and of course I have him here. This here, Harsha, is gamification. It's tension, it's suspense. What's in there for me? That is gamification. Not like you work with you. Harshad and Juan, your one team, go out. This is boring as hell. Nadine, what would be the ultimate sophistication? This is a typical Nadine question. Nadine, in what? In which area of life? With which, in which aspect? Come on. You always have these questions, which of course trigger reflection, which is always good for inspiration. Guys, it's already 34 minutes. Last tip from my side. Last tip. Because why did I learn so much from power workshops? Why did I learn so much about time management? That's another aspect, time management. Why did I learn so much about simplification, instructions, clarity, structure, gamification? Why did I learn so much? Why did I learn about using props? Because I also do feedback after workshops, not only after speeches. What went well and what could have been even better. If you do that after workshops, the whole workshop team gets better in leading workshops every single time they do it. This we don't do. This we don't do in companies. There is no feedback. And I'm not talking about your stupid 360-degree feedback. What the hell? Has it ever worked? Has anything changed after a 360-degree feedback session online? Now, lead short feedback rounds. That's more important than no feedback. This is so important. Feedback. And this is, we've come to the end. And this is, I don't know why I haven't come up with that. Guys, I have no idea. But if there's one success factor in me as a public speaking coach, numbers speak for themselves. If you self-celebrate in Germany, it stings. Self-celebration, but 104 clients in 10 years, and I'm all alone. This is 10 per year. New clients, big clients, Microsoft, Danone. Something is in the numbers here. And I think why do people grow so fast in my trainings? And this is the one I want to say, is because of this. I'm a fanatic with positive feedback and with constructive feedback. Negativity doesn't exist in my world. And this is why people grow fast. This you can do online and offline. There is no boundary here. And this is why tomorrow, my friends, I want to dedicate one of the last sessions. I decided 25. This is it. Come on. After 25, I'm running out of content. Connor said, begin again. But tomorrow, a full session on feedback. Feedback in communication. Feedback. That will be a cool session, I can tell you. Because if there's one passion in my life, it's making you grow, helping you grow through feedback. Thank you very much for joining again. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. CET, we are back, and I can't wait to listen to all your comments again, questions, comments. Tomorrow, Connor, please bring Sophia again. When you learn at the age of 4 years about feedback, what can happen in life? Thank you to all of you. Thank you, Alba Harshad. See you tomorrow. Hasta la vista.